Okay, hello, hi. This is Rani Ahmed with you. I'm here going to teach you, of course, and continue with teaching you and proceeding with you and teaching you Python programming language. Now we're here talking about functions and what functions are. Okay. Now, the book says here that the function is a named sequence of statements that perform a computation. Not necessarily a computation as like 1 plus 1 or 2 plus 2. There's all whatever you might think of for example, a whole paragraph of programming, okay, which you group them all under one name, okay, they are it's called a function. Okay, now we will see that in like something definition and uses, okay, or adding new function either. Okay, we will see about how to make our own custom function. Okay, so let's start with the function calls. What's a function call? Okay, uh, because we made a group of statements, okay, with whatever you would think of, okay, or you might think of in programming, and this is a generic term. It applies to all programming languages. Okay, in any programming language there must be like obligatory, okay, must be the definition of functions, okay, and that definition must exist. Okay, like you can't go in a programming language without a function. Okay? It's really like very absurd to have a programming language without functions. Why? Because this uh, grouped this set of grouped statements, okay, under one name, which you call them functions, okay, you use that name, okay, or that grouping name, okay, just to repeat executing those statements which are under that name. Okay, so this way, through this call of the function name, okay, which is the name of the grouping of those statements, will make it easier for you to rerun the same code with different inputs, okay, to that code. Okay, so you can imagine it like the program is calling another program from within itself. Okay, so we will see that inside our explanation. Now, regarding the function calls, the way you type or you call a function is that by typing the name of the function, then opening a parentheses, then if you have, it doesn't necessarily have to be there. If you have a value that you want to input into that function, okay, you type it. You have a number of them. You just type the first one, then comma the second one, then comes the third, fourth, whatever, as much as you have. Okay, then you close it with a semicolon, with a parentheses. Sorry. So it's like this. Like what we have in the print function here. Okay, so for example, we're talking about the function named print. So this is print is the function name, okay, which is called here print, okay, but in general as a definition, okay, this here as in the sense of parsing those words at this place, okay, in the code, this is the function name. Then you open the parentheses, then you take you make a use for yourself to close it directly so you don't forget it. Then you fill inside it as much as you want of parameters or arguments. Okay, so arg1, okay, you have more, you add a comma, then arg2, then arg3, okay, then until the last argument, argan. Okay, you type it this way. You can consider the args as normal variables. You can have, for example, statements, I mean, not statements, I mean normal values like what we have here. I have here 2 arguments for the print, okay, and there is a string, then another variable, okay. I can, for example, type print total, then 3, like that. It's okay. 3 plus 2, this will make print do the computation of 3 plus 2, then substituted as 5, then total will be printed. In front of it you get total 5, okay, and so on, so on, so on, okay. So this is how you type a function and you call it, okay. Right, so going to the book, back to the book, okay, you got here, I mean, type 42. Type 42, the function type, all it does is that it gives you the type of the value that's in between the parentheses of the function type. So if you have type 42 like that, it means that you're asking for the kind or of the value of 42. So if I press enter, it will give you its type integer. This means that the function we called, it's called type, takes the argument 42 and it returns all this value, okay. So this result, we use the word with it, return a value, okay. Returning a result or getting a result, we use a return a result, okay. I'm trying as much as I can to like stick this word into your head, okay. Return a value, the argument or the parameter, the same, okay, and the function name, what they are. Okay, so here another function, int 32. Now int 32, what does it do here? Here it takes a string, a normal string, okay, of 2 characters, which are the 3 and 2, and the function int, when it sees a series of or a sequence of characters representing or letters representing numbers, okay, it will transform that sequence of characters, which is that string, okay, into a normal number which we can compute using it, okay, like what we did in the previous lesson, okay. So int 32 like this, okay, it will give me 32 as a number, not as a string between 2 quotes, okay. Here if I put hello instead, okay, it will give me, or my name for example, it will give me what? Invalid literal for int, okay, with base 10. So int must give me a number, okay, but I'm giving it what? A normal string. It doesn't have any number in it, okay, and it must have all as numbers inside the string. So this means you've made like a an illegal input, okay. Now if I, for example, type int and some decimal like that, it will give me 3. However, what's after the decimal will be discarded, okay, or I have a wrong value here. Okay, yeah, because this is not acceptable as an integer. However, if I type int and 3.497 like that as a normal number, but it's a decimal, it will truncate it. Okay, so it will give you only the integer part. Okay, float 32, as you see, will give you it with a decimal, because you're converting this number as a decimal. Okay, now if I want, I can convert it to from string, so 32.23 whatever dot blah blah blah. Okay, it will give you a number. Okay, now if I want to convert a number into a string, okay, so this means that I have this. Cool, this is a number, this is what? A string. So what I want to do is pass the output of float into the string, which is a number, which is given to the str function as a number, which is going to return back the same value. Look at this. So str of 32 at least, okay, to give you the string 32. So if I substitute the function with 32 like this, str float of 32, okay, I can do this. Okay, like function inside the function like that as a value, as a parameter. Okay, and you can do it as much as you want, function inside the function inside the function inside the function like this. Okay, for example here. Okay, like that. For example, a function called GRT. I invented it. Okay, you can do as much as you want. Okay, with as much as you want of parameters according to the requirements of every function. Okay, so returning back to this, okay, I have 32 here in between quotations, okay, which means this is a string. From the string here, when it's substituted with the value on here, it will give me the number 32. Okay, but str will take the number 32 and convert it back to the string 32. Look at this. Okay, same if I do it with the int, str int 32. Cool. Now, math functions. Okay, now if I want to use something from trigonometry, something, you know, those scientific functions, okay, I will have to import what we call a library, okay, or a module, okay, called math. Okay, now importing in Python means that you are using other people's work, okay, which was previously used, built for us or written for us, okay. So I can use the functions inside that library, okay. So and therefore it will be part of our code, okay. So this is a kind of code reuse, okay, same as what we do with a function. We can call the function name as much as you want, okay. So if I say import math, okay, now I can print the pi, math.pi, and this is the math.pi. This is how much pi is, as much as Python can provide, okay, using this way, exactly this way. Now here he's talking about the noise of that signal would face, okay. So this is here like a rule to find the decibels, okay, which is related to the measurement of noise, okay. So you get the signal power, okay, over the noise power, you divide them, and you get the ratio, this ratio, and there's something, the logarithm base 10 of that ratio, and you multiply it by 10. Now to get the logarithm base 10, okay, you will have to use the math dot, which means get the function log 10, okay, which is inside the import of math that we did, okay. So let's say here, for example, yeah, so if you have your angle is 0.7 in radians, okay, your height will be the math times the sine, math dot sine of the radians, okay. So and this is based on the case that you have a radius of 1, okay. This is incorrect, by the way, as is, okay. There should be here a radian, a radius multiplied by the sine, okay, radius of the circle. Anyway, so all those functions, the sine, the cosine, the square root, for example, like this, okay, all those you must use the import math to use them, and you will have to type always math dot, okay, math dot the function, okay. And putting a function like what we did here, the float, inside another function, for example here the string, okay, this is called function composition, okay. So like what you have here, math.exp, taking the value of the function of a log of x plus 1, okay. So you here put x plus 1, x is a variable, okay, which is coming of course from here. Anyway, I don't care, just you have x plus 1 as a value, you give it to the function math.log, okay. The return value will be given to math.exp, okay, function, and therefore you get another value in x, okay. You can do this, of course, but you cannot do this, okay. You can't do it or write it the opposite way, okay. You'll have to start with a function or the variable and then do your operation, and of course the assignment will be in the middle, okay. Now adding new functions. Now this is the most important thing to me, okay. let's say I want to make those two lines, okay, every time call them to be repeated. Okay, I don't want to every time type those two lines. Okay, so what I do is I use this way of calling the those two lines, the lyric lines. Okay, so you have to take it as a rule of thumb. Okay, oh no, not a rule, it's just like strict rule in Python. Okay, if you have a whole block underneath, yeah, like all together, okay, you just press tab, okay, and put your lines over each other. Like here, for example, here def is the keyword that makes print lyrics as a custom function. Okay, and then under this grouping of those lines of code, the two print lines, okay, you will have to put a spacing here. Okay, spacing here, oh, I'm sorry, you know, beside the print here, the second here, I mean beside this one. Okay, you will have to put some kind of spacing, okay, away from the div. Okay, and they will have all to be underneath each other, starting at the same point. Okay, so let's give you an example. This is def. Okay, this is my new function. Okay, and I put it like this, and then I named my own function. Now if I want to put it, I put it like here, so this line, then the second line, okay, then the third line, all those belonging to what? The same function. Now if I do this and I do this space, this means, okay, that this line, the x's, those x's, okay, are a separate block. Okay, they don't belong to these. Okay, and you must understand that usually what makes you go into another shifted block, okay, of statements, maybe some kind of conditional, maybe some kind of another definition you want to do. Okay, usually it's an if statement here. Okay, some kind of conditions, okay, or some kind of a while loop. Okay, so you got the point. And if I want, I can just type here my arg1, okay, all my arguments. Okay, if I want to, okay, if I have so many arguments to pass. So if I want to say, okay, print and here let me say call number, okay, I will make it like this, and I do this. This is my new function called first time, or called using call number equal call number. Okay, this is just a single function with a single line. Okay, and I can also type, for example, another line, doesn't matter. Okay, I say thanks for calling me, just for fun, I'm doing this. Okay, now this function as is, okay, it does not return a value. Okay, it does not do something like what the int here would do, okay, or can do. So when I want to call it, I can, if I want, I can put it up here. Okay, it's better that you always put your functions on the top, so I can call them anytime you want. Okay, so I can call, for example, my new func like this. Okay, number 1, this is first call. This is second call. This is call 10. Okay, so if I run it, okay, let's put the 60 here, doesn't matter. So see, I passed first number 1, then I passed second number 2, then I passed third time number 10. Okay, so this is the call. Okay, so what I've done here is calling the same function 3 times. I can, for example, from within the middle, I can move this, and for example, I put here. Okay, oh, no, but let's put it here somewhere, not confusing. Okay, and rerun the app. Okay, and this is 60. Like, see here. Okay, and see what will happen next when I press enter. Okay, so enter the number of copies. Now it says this is my new function called using call number 1. So instead of me writing those 2 lines again and again and again and again, okay, and every time use something like this, cover price equals some number, for example, it will be here, call number equals, and every time call number equals and print, call number equals and print, call number equals and print every time, and I will have to insert those 2 lines somewhere. No, I would do a function that will be easier to do. Okay, and as much as I want, I would be calling it like this. Okay, and also the function, my new function, in the same way currently is written, it's not actually a function, we call it a procedure, because it does not return a value. Once I put return, okay, like this, and I put a number, for example, call number, or any number, or any value I want, okay, now it will return a value in this way as is. It will return the value, but it will go nowhere. Okay, I will not be making any advantage of it. But if I want, for example, in my new function 10, okay, and I say print one plus my new function 10. So what will happen? What will happen? It will print all those, okay? And I can do this if I want. I hope I'm not complicating things on you, but just understand how much I can play with the functions, okay? So after adding 1, okay, let's see. So here it asks me for 60 copies. Okay, so this is number 10 has printed its thing, okay, but after 1 it added 11. Why? Because we did return the call number, okay, and I've added here the +1 to the value of the return, okay, and just things are substituted and executed as normally. Okay, now the return statement here is, you can say it like a way to quit the function at any time I want inside that function. Okay, once we reach the conditionals, you'll understand that according to any condition, I can stop the execution of the lines of the function, okay, and I can quit, okay. If if you don't put anything here in front of the return, this means that you're telling the function, hold on, stop, don't do anything, okay. So let's say, for example, I put here like an empty print, okay, like print XYZ, okay. Let's see what will happen. This print still belongs to my function, okay, and here is the running of the function, okay. So now it asks me for the 60 copies, okay. Okay, so I got type error. Anyway, when you see any line after the return, usually it's wrong to type it, okay. So it will quit on the return statement, okay. And from within those functions too, okay, for example here, I can return, for example, the math dot, because I imported here the math, for example, put first always the imports, okay, before anything in the application, okay. All the imports, you start with them, then the function definitions, then you can do all your code that you want, okay. Make it in this sequence, okay. Always do it in that sequence, don't like mix them, okay. So you'll understand that this part is for the imports, this part is for the defined functions, the custom functions, then your program will start working, okay. Because your program in this paragraph, like here, okay, must find the definition of the function, okay. If you define your function after it, here it will not be known, okay. If it's not known for Python, just make this as a use for all programming languages. I'm trying to teach you programming, not just only Python, okay. So we here add math, return math, for example, dot log of call number, okay. This will work, okay. So run module, and here is 60. Okay, so this is the log plus 1, okay, the log plus 1, okay. And if you notice here, every time, okay, 2 and 10 were not being printed out, okay. So I can define as much as you want of functions in this way, okay. And also, for example, here in this function, he defined print lyrics. So this is the lyric, okay. But if I want, I can instead define another function called repeat lyrics, okay. And then every time I call print lyrics, okay. And then I just type once, repeat lyrics. So this way, this function called this function, okay, twice, okay. By the way, don't put print lyrics definition after the definition of repeat lyrics. This is normal, as if you're telling someone about someone else, okay, but you haven't defined it to him earlier, okay, or did not introduce him earlier before you start talking about him, okay, that other person. So it's the same thing here in computers, okay. It's a matter of logic, nothing much. So I talked about all those parameters, flow of execution, okay. Quickly I talked about, okay. And we had examples from the previous lesson, okay. Okay, now I want to talk to you about something else also, okay. Sometimes I'm skipping the sequence because the way I've learned programming is different, okay. There are more important things than the way the book is going with, okay. Now, if you notice here that the cover price is talking about from outside the definition, okay. So if I want to get the cover price from inside, okay, you use the word global and you get cover price, okay. Now this way I can print here, for example, okay. This is what we call variable scope. So if I want to use the same variable from outside the definition of the function, I can, but again, if I want to use the same variable which is here, which is located outside the definition of the function, but I want to use it inside the definition of the function, I use the word global. This way I can call the value 24, okay, directly from within the function, my function, okay, my new function. So here, let's run it. This is 60. Okay, you see the 24.5 has been used so many times, okay. But here inside the function, it was not called, okay, or defined, let's say, okay. It's not defined inside, okay. There's no 24 here written for me, okay. So that's why the cover price, okay, because of the word global, it was printed here, okay. I hope this makes sense to you, okay. Try it and repeat as much as you want of global variables, okay. That's why we call them global, because they are coming from outside the definition of the function, okay. So let's go to here, okay. Exercises, okay. So now we will stop here and we will talk about exercises in the second video, okay, or the next video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.